Today I have the Asus TUF Dash F15 2021 in for review, and I have been using it as my primary laptop for more than a month now. I got myself the Intel i7 11th Gen H35 CPU variant along with the RTX 3060 GPU, but you can find even cheaper options with RTX 3050 too. Asus has also refreshed it with the latest Intel processors that feature up to 8 cores. Apart from the newer CPU and a built-in webcam, everything else remains the same though. Anyway, I have this moonlight white color option which looks pretty unique, and as you can already see, it is sort of a bold statement too, and a bit of a gamble perhaps. While it looks breathtaking and all, the eventual downfall of this snowy finish might have already triggered OCD to some cleanliness freaks Monica Geller out there.
If only there were a smaller one to clean this one.
Jokes aside, throughout my usage, this variant has done a surprisingly impressive job of keeping things intact, as a couple of wipes with a dry cloth is all it takes to bring the Dash F15 back to its original glory. But if you want something way more subtle and traditional looking, there's also an Eclipse grey finish of this laptop available. In any case, the TUF Dash F15 is not bulky or heavy for a typical gaming laptop. Moreover, since it falls under the company's TUF lineup, the Dash F15 is mil standard A10H certified too. This ensures durability against drops, vibrations, extreme temperatures and such. On my usage too, despite its plastic body, I did not feel it to be cheap, plus the hinge is quite solid too. Port selection on this laptop leaves no room for complaint either. Here, one Ethernet, one HDMI 2.0B, one USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A, one USB-C Thunderbolt 4 and one 3.5mm combo audio jack can be found on the left frame alongside the barrel pin charging connector. On the opposite side, you get two more USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports and a Kensington lock slot. With the Thunderbolt 4 connection, Asus even lets you juice up this laptop using a 100-watt power delivery compatible charger. Another neat design trick of this laptop is the front-facing LED indicators for power and battery status. There's also a hard drive LED, which in this case indicates whether the onboard SSD is being read from or written to. Okay, in terms of the display, the higher end model comes with a 15.6 inches WQHD panel with 100% DCI-P3 color space, a 165Hz refresh rate, and a 3 milliseconds response time. On the other hand, my unit is the base model with a 15.6 inches Full HD screen with a 62.5 sRGB color coverage and a 144Hz refresh rate. In all fairness, this is an average yet acceptable screen considering its mediocre color coverage. Obviously, things don't look nearly as vibrant as they should, but for a relatively affordable gaming laptop, it's hard to complain. Under factory color calibration, this screen tends to look slightly bluish with low black levels too. Using our trusty SpiderX Pro, we color calibrated this panel and measured that this display covers 67% sRGB, 50% Adobe RGB, 50% DCI-P3 and 48% of NTSC color gamut. Okay, in terms of brightness, Asus has not revealed any numbers on its official site, but our test concludes that the TUF Dash F15 screen has a peak brightness of 297 nits and a 1030:1 contrast ratio. For indoor usage, I had no problem with the visibility here when setting its brightness at 50 to 60%. The anti-glare coating helps with the ambient lighting reflections as well. However, it's not the best companion to have with when you're outdoors. Alright, besides the subpar brightness, its viewing angles is okay-ish only. I also noticed mild IPS glow near the mid-left corner of the screen, but that's not noticeable when you're in a fairly well-lit room. Anyway, you'll find the rubber paddings on the top and side bezels, which are there to absorb pressure away from the panel when you shut down the lid. Okay, let's now talk about its keyboard. Despite featuring a 15.6 inches chassis, the TUF Dash 15 misses out on a numpad. About its quality, well, I am quite satisfied with the typing experience on this thing. Their 1.7mm key travel distance is right up my wheelhouse, and I had no trouble maintaining my 70 to 80 word per minute typing speed here. The keys are well spaced out and have a fairly quiet sound profile. There are also 4 hotkeys on the top for quick access to volume, mic control, and Armoury Crate. Anyhow, this keyboard is backlit as well, and you can play around with a total of 3 lighting modes. However, it does not enjoy multi-zone RGB lighting, and Asus has gone with a mint green backlight here. I must say it looks pretty unique though. Still and all, TUF Dash F15's keyboard backlighting is pretty weak even under 100% brightness. You can clearly notice the uneven illumination in most of the keys, especially the ones with smaller etchings like colon and apostrophe. On the other hand, Asus TUF Dash F15's trackpad is acceptably average. It's plastic made, so you're not getting the most premium feel as glass trackpads do, and this relatively compact form factor is not the best choice for efficient drag and drop exercises either. However, during my time, I used this Asus TUF mouse that I got with the laptop itself, so it wasn't much of a big issue for me. Okay, when it comes to the audio, the sound quality from its dual bottom firing speaker is not half bad. Things can get loud enough for an average sized room, while there's plenty of detail in mids and highs to enjoy as well. You can even customize the sound profile with the DTS X Ultra app depending on the task at hand, like listening to music or playing games. But I do feel like Asus could have done a better job with one simple design tweak. As you can see, the rubber feet on the lower portion near the speakers are significantly shorter than the ones on the top. If only they were on a level with one another, the speaker grill could have gotten a reasonably wider room to breathe. Okay, let's now get into the performance side of things. Here, my review unit ships with the Intel Core i7-11370H processor and RTX 3060 graphics with 6GB of GDDR6 VRAM. This has been paired with 16GB of single-channel DDR4 RAM at 3200 MHz and 512GB of NVMe PCIe Gen 3 SSD. And unlike most Ultrabooks these days, you can upgrade both RAM and SSD here. At any rate, this configuration costs 2,05,000 rupees here in Nepal. The same model retails for some 1,25,000 rupees in India or around $1,360 in the US. Here, Asus has had to use a Max-Q CPU to maintain the thin form factor of this laptop. The RTX 3060 draws up to 80 watt of power or up to 85 watt with dynamic boost on. Additionally, even though the i7-11370H is an H series CPU, this processor has been designed for ultra-portable gaming laptops with configurable TDP capped at 35 watt instead of 45 watts. What's more is that all the processors under the H35 lineup are quad-core, which is quite unorthodox for a typical gaming laptop. Despite all this, the Asus TUF Dash F15 has not let me down throughout all my workloads. Keeping 10 to 12 Chrome tabs open alongside typing up Word documents, listening to music on Spotify, editing images on Photoshop results in 0 hiccups to this beast. I also did not face any heating issues while doing day-to-day tasks. Plus, because of its 144Hz screen, everything feels super smooth, so that's great too. Okay, looking at the single-core benchmark scores, you can see some impressive results here. However, its quad-core design means if your use case also involves 3D rendering, video editing and such, the i7-11370H should not be your biggest bet. And I will suggest you opt for the i7-11800H octa-core variant of the TUF F15 instead. In fact, this laptop posted worse multi-core benchmark results compared to the 25-watt hexa-core Ryzen 5 5500U on the Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 5 that we recently reviewed. Okay, now before getting into gaming, I'd like to quickly discuss different performance profiles under the Armoury Crate. Here, the turbo profile maxes out CPU, GPU, and cooling trifecta, while the silent mode does the opposite in pursuit of a quieter performance. By the way, I tested out all the benchmarks and games under the turbo mode. In graphically lax games like FIFA, Valorant, and CSGO, the TUF Dash F15 delivers excellent performance. It can hit 126 FPS and 100 FPS on average in CSGO and Valorant under high settings. Likewise, in FIFA, it offers a stable 85 FPS in the highest of settings. With DX12 and DLSS turned on, demanding games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider manage a respectable 64 FPS on average under high graphics preset. On the other hand, turning on DX12 ray tracing on Star Wars Battlefront 2 results in a pretty stuttery experience. At high graphics quality, I just got 29 FPS on average, so I had to turn off ray tracing to get smooth gameplay here at around 69 FPS on average under high graphics settings. In terms of thermals, Asus has fitted in 4 exhaust vents here in total, 2 on the side and 2 at the back. Likewise, its dual fan configuration has been complemented by 5 heat pipes in total, connecting to the CPU, GPU, VRM, and VRAM. Under the turbo mode while playing games, the fan noise is pretty loud with almost a whistling effect to it. Under such a heavy load, almost the entire keyboard chassis gets quite warm. You could feel the hot air blowing out of all 4 sides, but it simply could not keep up with the workload. I also noticed TUF Dash F15's gaming performance to be a tad bit underwhelming compared to my friend's MSI GF65 Thin 10UE, which features the last gen Core i7 10th Gen CPU and RTX 3060 GPU with 75 watt power. Comparatively, it delivers at least 10 to 20% better FPS results on average than the TUF Dash F15. Overall, if you mostly play games like CSGO, Valorant, or FIFA with relatively low TGP demand, this setup is more than fine. However, if you are a serious AAA gamer, you'll want to get the one with RTX 3070 GPU and an octa-core CPU for better gaming performance. Finally, let's talk about its battery life now. The Asus TUF Dash F15 packs a sizable 76 Wh cell, and the company claims that this can deliver up to 16.6 hours of battery life on a single charge, which is far from the truth. On my usage with the iGPU and panel power saver mode turned off, brightness set to 50% and keyboard backlight set to level 2, I managed to get 3 to 3.5 hours of screen on time. So to get better endurance, I used the silent profile and turned on iGPU mode, which disables the power-hungry RTX 3060 graphics, and turned on the panel power saver mode as well, that dials down the refresh rate to 60 Hz. This provided me like 7 to 8 hours of battery endurance under normal usage. So yeah, the battery life on this thing is not spectacular by any means, but it is still decent enough for a gaming laptop. On the charging front, the onboard 200 watt AC power adapter takes around 1 hour and 45 minutes to fully juice up this battery. So overall, I have enjoyed my time with the Asus TUF Dash F15. If you are someone who likes a relatively lightweight body and impressive battery life on a budget gaming laptop, then this is quite a decent choice. Having said that, if you can sacrifice portability for sheer power, then there are better options to shop for. So that was all for our review of the Asus TUF Dash F15. For more gadget reviews and tech content like this, do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Till then, I'm Pratima and I'll see you in the next one.